Gandhi spent most of his life opposing British rule with nonviolent protest in the early 1900s. After a bad encounter with some white men on a train, Gandhi quit being a lawyer to go and try to free India from the British, which was a turning point in history for the lives of many people. Gandhi led many protests that eventually freed the people of India and tried to unite the Hindus and Muslims. Gandhi used his nonviolent ways to change a nation forever. And he didn't just change India. Gandhi changed the whole world with his belief that India could one day be a free country that was not ruled over by anyone else. Gandhi! How his non-violent protests changed a nation forever. On October 2nd, 1869, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born in this house in the Vaishya caste. Gandhi was the youngest of 4 children and stole change one day to buy cigarettes, which he eventually admitted to his father. His father wasn't mad at him for what he did. He loved the fact that his son would admit that to him. At age 13, Gandhi was in an arranged marriage with a girl of the same age. At age 17, Gandhi left his family to go to law school in London. Gandhi didn't like London at first because he was intimidated by modern technology, like the elevator. After Gandhi became a lawyer, he realized he could not practice law. He couldn't open his mouth in front of a judge, so he bailed on it. Gandhi really saw discrimination against Indians by the British when he bought a first-class ticket and a white passenger complained about that and wanted him in the third compartment. Gandhi refused and was brutally thrown off the train. Gandhi was so loyal to Britain that he was a stretcher bearer for the Zulu uprising in 1906. After the Zulu uprising, Gandhi realized he might be a dominating husband to his wife. At age 37, Gandhi took the Hindu vow of permanent celibacy. Permanent celibacy is part of Brahmacharya. The word indicates a lifestyle adopted to enable one to attain the ultimate reality. Brahmacharya has 2 principles, sexual abstinence and life stage. Brahmacharya is also understood in yoga and a good diet that Gandhi made. New law proposed that all Indian people would have to be registered and fingerprinted by the British. Women would have to strip down so the guards could make marks for the registration. By 1915, 300 million Indians were under the rule of 100,000 English invaders. Gandhi was into fasting. It was part of his nonviolent protest, and it taught tolerance. Gandhi won the affection of the locals by being like them, wearing nothing but cloth or dhotis, and being the poorest of the poor. He told the Indians to keep their simple white cloth, or dhotis, and to stop wearing Western clothing. All the Western clothes were cast into a huge fire. In the famous Salt March of April and May 1930, thousands of Indians followed Gandhi from Ahmedabad to the Arabian Sea to protest the British salt taxes. The march resulted in the arrest of nearly 60,000 people, including Gandhi himself. It was a 240-mile walk to the village of Dandi. After Gandhi was arrested, thousands of his followers protested till he was released. Gandhi taught all his followers about civil disobedience, and so they would not fight back when the British were hurting them. In 1942, Gandhi demanded India's freedom. He said, "Do or die for India." Gandhi went to jail again for what he said. February 22, 1944, Kasturba, Gandhi's wife at 62 years, died in Gandhi's arms. After that, the Muslim minority demanded to be a different country, so then it became Pakistan. August 14, 1947, India finally gets its freedom. Hindus and Muslims are rejoicing, even though Gandhi thinks they shouldn't be, because the blood is still spilling. With this freedom, there were mass migrations. Hindus were fleeing to India. Muslims were escaping to Pakistan. January 30th, 1948, Gandhi was murdered. Millions of people came to New Delhi to see the ceremony. These are the reasons Gandhi was murdered. Unfortunately, not everyone is happy with the peace plan. There were a few radical Hindu groups who believed that India should have never been partitioned. In part, they blamed Gandhi for the separation. Gandhi was assassinated by Nathuram Godse. Nathuram Godse bowed, and Gandhi bowed back. Then Nathuram shot him 3 times in the chest. Gandhi died at 78 years of age, and I believe that he was alive as long as he needed to be. He had been trying to free India all his life, and he did just that a year earlier. Gandhi was loved by all, and he will be remembered forever. The night of Gandhi's death, Indian leader Pandit Nehru spoke over the radio to the people and said, "Friends and comrades, the light has gone out of our lives and there is darkness everywhere. I do not know what to tell you and how to say it. Our beloved leader, Bapu as we call him, the father of our nation, is no more. Perhaps I am wrong to say that. Nevertheless, we will not see him again as we have seen him for these many years. We will not run to him for advice and seek solace from him. And that's a terrible blow, not to me only, but to millions and millions of this country." In 1982, Richard Attenborough released his controversial Gandhi film that won 8 Academy Awards. Gandhi might be dead now, but he has a space in our hearts, so we'll always remember how big of a turning point he was for India. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who lived from 1869 to 1948.